Hi, I'm Turk Strongman of the Round Q Amateur Rocket. Thank you for selecting this video on Will and Vril. Before continuing, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, then I urge you to do it right now. It's in your own best interest, I think. And while you're at it, activate the notification bell feature. Why not, right? And then if by the end of this video you found that you liked it, please give it a thumb up. Give it one anyway. And share the joy of the channel with others. Now, let's move forward. Will and Vril. Okay, recently in a video, just within the last couple of my own material uploads, my own winging it off the cuff, improvised, impromptu orations here. I said something about good does not always win over evil. So let's say you're creating a thought form intentionally to combat other thought forms. Let's say yours is of a constructive nature, is working against consciousness hijacking and perception deception of any kind. Some thought forms out there work against human evolvement, work against one's own best interests, work destructively. All right, so you want to create one of your own. And you tended to buy into the idea that good always triumphs over evil. So as long as you do your part, that's what's going to happen. But that's not always the way it goes, people. I pointed this out in brief. Good does not always win over evil. And besides, who's the arbiter of what's good and what's not? What's the opposite? What things are which? There's a lot of self-interest can come in there. Cultural conditioning, social conditioning can come in. A lot of things can come in. But the point is, maybe in the grand picture of a full cosmic day, by the end of it all things that are universally, considered, that the universe considered to be matters of devolution, have been whipped down, beaten down by those things that the universe considers to be for the betterment, for evolvement, universal evolvement. Good over evil, okay. But in the day-to-day affairs of at least this planet, with people, it's not the way it goes. It doesn't always go like that. Come on. We know that. Good does not always win over evil. If it always did, then every instance of it, no matter how grand or how small, no matter what its duration, what its extent is, what its degree is, we would always see that result. But we don't. Okay? What trumps something else, let's say, isn't the goodness of a thing. It's the polarity of the thing. Now, this is what I want to talk about here. Just a little bit about polarity. We might automatically start thinking, well, I think positive, that's a charge, right? A pole, positive, negative. No, I'm not talking about good. I'm talking about polarity, positive in relation to something else. Like the polarity of the other something else is negative with respect to, let's say, B is negatively charged, or polarity-wise, it's negative to A. A is positive with respect to B. It's a polarity thing. Think in terms of electricity and magnetism, electromagnetism. Think in terms of that. And recognize also here that all phenomena, any plane of phenomena, any plane of manifestation, there are just as many planes of electromagnetic events going on. And all things can be said to be electromagnetic. That's one of the basic ways things operate. Everything, is electrical, is magnetic, electromagnetic. Another way to explain things, or to boil things down, is that there's a mathematical side to all of them. There's also a logical side, on and off states of things. Things are either on or they're off. Electromagnetic is just a third way to accurately describe phenomena of all planes of manifestation, all planes of being. Okay, so yeah, this is an accurate way to talk about affairs. And in electricity, or in magnetism, we just think of examples. You have the positive pole and you have the negative pole. We're talking about this kind of relationship, positive pole versus negative pole. One is more positive than the other. It's a matter of which way things flow and which way things go. It's a matter of kind of like which one's in the leading role. Which one's more powerful, you might say. Which one has greater magnitude. Which one is doing the active role, playing the active role with respect to the other. All right? What we're saying is, when it comes to things like your will, you have a battle of wills with somebody. Well, it's the one that's more positive with respect to the other. The one is the one that wins. It's not the one that's good or out to do the right thing. It's the one that's more positive, more positively charged, positive with respect to the other. The other is negative with respect to the first thing. Get it? Think in terms of that. All right. Now, look. It's not just a matter of will at work. Consider the other element. There are two other elements, really. One is desire. The other is Vril. Will, desire, and Vril. So let's say you want to create a thought form to bust up some other thought forms that you feel, let's say you have established a true selfhood. You feel you have a very keen, intuitive sense now, let's say, to go along with that. You have developed your like a super conscious, intuitive understanding of universal will and what is working toward. The betterment, the morement, the growth, the increased, the ever-growing conscious awareness of and self-expression of and individualization of all of its parts and its whole. You feel that it is trying to work through you. You see that something is destructive to nature or whatever, something that people are doing or some way that people are thinking is destructive. And you want to create a thought form that combats the astral artificial entities known as thought forms that are working against the betterment of people. And okay, so you go about doing this. So you're going to use your will, okay? Well, you can take quite a bit of will for the right focus, with the proper amount of concentration to get it done. And perhaps you're up against a rather strongly life force, in a sense, artificial life force, kind of like, life of a thought form, a pretty powerful one. And maybe it's been around for a long time. Maybe it's been supported by a lot of people. A lot of people's beliefs, thoughts. Okay. All right. So you're going to take quite a bit of will, to generate a strong thought form. Well, for one thing, desire. There's desire and then there's will. Okay. William Walker Atkinson, whose many of whose books I narrate here in my channel, he considers will and a desire functionally to be two poles of mind power. Two different poles. One pushes things into action, pushes, right? That would be will. And the other draws them into action. That would be desire. Desire is the feminine pole, will being the masculine pole. Okay, well, they work together. Will exerts its power in the direction of a dominant desire. Desire directs will. Coincidence in the direction that it is going to go. Dominant desire does that. Of course, desire can be managed by will. Can be managed by will. Because will stands sovereign. It can do that. So they work together. All right? Maybe the dominant desire was not in one's own best interest. Well, will can redirect or program desire. And then the dominant desire then will push will into a certain direction. Okay? But we have to also consider will alone is not enough. Let's say it's in action now. Well, there's more. Number one, ironclad willpower is a good thing. And some of that a lot of that, getting to that point with the use of willpower, is a matter of practice, systematic practice. A systematic practice. Okay? Logical sequence of techniques, exercises, practices to bring that about. Another portion of that is going to come about through having a strong desire for will to do what is pointed at doing. Emotional content. But will has to, manage that too. Okay, the other element is Vril. Vril is the life force that is being moved by will to get things done. Will alone, even ironclad will, is not enough. It has to move the Vril, the life force, the prana, which is not just some component of human beings. There's universal prana, universal Vril. It's electromagnetic. It's an electromagnetic thing. It's also called vital magnetism. That's been another name used for it. Okay? These are electromagnetic phenomena. So when we talk about charge or polarity, positive with respect to something else, negative with respect to something else, we're talking about a very literal and factual thing. And the more we understand that, the better we can make this all work. So we get the right emotional content, controlled, managed emotional content, directing will to move Vril. Then we have something that we can really work with. All right? So, now I'm uploading William Walker Atkinson's third book in his Arcane Teachings series of books. There are 4 in all. The third being Vril, or Vital Magnetism. So pay attention to it. We're going to use all this later on here. There are things that need to be done. Some forces at work and things manifesting in the world, in society, some technological things that are, the thought forms involved need to be busted. And I'm enlisting your help to do that. So I'm going to tell you how, best I can, safely, all right? Safely, best of my ability, and then trust that you use this information wisely. I don't trust you all. But it's a chance that has to be taken now. Yeah, it is, because the opposition's hard at work. It's not to be trusted. That's for sure. All right. And some of you are. So I want you to start thinking in terms of desire, will, and Vril all working together. What they are, and what their differences are, and what their similarities are, how they work together. Okay? This video introduced that. Thank you for selecting this video on will and Vril and the desire. Did you like it? Give it a thumb up. Give it one anyway, like I said. What's it gonna hurt, right? So, yeah, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that. And activate the notification bell feature. Share the joy of this channel with others. I'm Turk Strongman at Taranki Ramataraka. Be well.